Today's Girl Which Way show is brought to you by Shalia Speaks. Shalia Speaks is the umbrella that the Shalia brand stands under. Whether it's coaching sessions, books, or speaking, Shalia Speaks is the vehicle that gets my voice out to you all. Visit shaliavinny.com and book a coaching session, find out more about me, grab one of my books, and more. I can't wait to connect more with you. Hello and welcome to the Girl Which Way podcast, the show that exists because life is a journey, but you still need direction. Grab your tribe and get ready because each episode we'll be talking about our real life issues, answering questions, and building solid relationships with one another as we heal and learn. I'm your host, your girl, Shalia Vinny, and today's show is another fan requested one. Some of you saw my viral video on triggers, and some of you saw my video on a breach of trust, and you have been messaging me and asking for a show to deeper dive into this ever since. And y'all know I'm here for it. So without further ado, today's show is for those of you who are dealing with a breakdown of trust in your relationship and what to do about it. I'm going to talk about what to do when you have been hurt as well as when you have caused the hurt. You know we can't be one-sided. You guys ready? Let's go. Love is such a beautiful risk that we're all willing to take when we think we found our person. We all enter into relationships with big dreams of love and hoping for forever. You're just completely head over heels for your person. You know each other better than anyone else knows both of you. You know their secrets and their hopes and their dreams and the fears and things about them that they won't share with anyone else. You understand their history. You know why they think the way they think and why they feel the way that they do. There's no need to put on a show or to pretend to be anything that you're not or to try to impress them. You don't have to hide parts of yourself with each other. You can be your full, embarrassing, and awkward self around them, and they love you anyway. You love them for who they are, the good, the bad, the flaws, and all. You literally can complete each other's sentences and anticipate one another's needs. Unlike lust, you know it's real because it doesn't wear off or fade after that initial spark goes away. It's caring for your person on a spiritual, emotional, and mental level, but it has nothing to do with sex. You lie in bed all day and night just talking and laughing about the dumbest things. You find yourself talking for hours when you're apart, and you always rush home just to reconnect because you miss them whenever they're not around. They complete you, and your love is beautiful and solid and strong, and nothing or no one on the planet matters as much as they do to you. Your love is rare, and you feel fortunate to know that you found that thing that so many other people around the world are looking for. And you feel so happy that you found this kind of love, and at the same time somehow terrified of the fear that it might go away. So what happens when you're faced with exactly that scenario? The realization that all was not what it seemed. The hard truth that it just might actually go away. There is no sting that is worse than when it comes to you being blindsided to learn that your partner has betrayed you. You typically don't know there's even an issue until you learn of the betrayal. Because contrary to popular belief, lots of relationships are not failing or suffering. They're laughing, having frequent sex, going on dates, and cuddling every night as if nothing has changed. Imagine then walking through life, not even questioning something could be wrong because you and your partner are so connected and in tune with each other that there's no real reason to doubt them. It is devastating and it hurts like hell. Now you have to go back and replay everything in your mind and heart and try to figure out when the shift started and could it have been prevented and why it happened and how many times it happened and how long has it been happening. And you have to confront your person with your pain and try your best to get answers. You feel embarrassed and stupid. You feel hopeless and heartbroken. You're angry and confused. You try to wrap your head around the details and how you're going to tell your heart that it's okay to trust and heal again, if ever. You might have nightmares. You might lose your cool and try to put the pieces together for yourself by finding out more about the third person involved, the one they betrayed you with. You may be numb. You may feel nothing and everything at the same time, and all of your feelings are at peak levels. You truly begin to wonder if you're ever going to be able to get past the hurt and be okay again. More often than not, Your partner wants you to know that the other person meant nothing to them and that they love you and they only want you, and they plead and beg and cry to you and ask you not to leave them. They tell you that they can change and it's never going to happen again. They explain that it was just sex, and they ask you to forgive them, and your whole idea of them is skewed and jaded. But underneath it all, you do love this person more than anyone else. God, how are you going to believe them? And because you want to believe them and you want to move on and you want to run off into the sunset like this never happened, but it's not just sex to you. It's what it means and what it represents to you. You think about how they could dishonor you, jeopardize losing you and your trust and all the time you put into the relationship and each other. You wonder if it was really worth it and why they would blow your lives up for someone who they say doesn't matter at all to them. You weigh the pros and cons of the relationship. The pain may be unbearable and you're forced to walk through it anyway. You might have to even walk away, and that's okay. You might have an intense conversation and try to work things out, and that's okay too. You might have to figure out things on your own. But if you do decide to leave, good for you. And if you do decide to fight for your relationship or marriage, that's also your choice and you're right and good for you. You have to do what's best for you and what gives you peace at the end of the day. Walking away will be one of the hardest things you've ever had to do, especially if you have invested many years, children, and time together. But staying will also be hard to do, mostly because the trust has been broken and now you're unsure if you can trust your person moving forward. You feel vulnerable and raw. You can't believe you found yourself in such a traumatic, heart-rending situation, all because you trusted someone with your heart to love you as much as you love them. Wow. Today's Girl Which Way show is brought to you by Shalia Speaks. Shalia Speaks is the umbrella that the Shalia brand stands under. Whether it's coaching sessions, books, or speaking, Shalia Speaks is the vehicle that gets my voice out to you all. Visit shaliavinny.com and book a coaching session, find out more about me, grab one of my books, and more. I can't wait to connect more with you. So we've been discussing being in love and the anguish that comes when you're betrayed. The number one question I get is, how do we get past this? So I first want to spend some time dealing with the brokenhearted on this answer, and then I'll talk to those of you who have caused the hurt. So here's what needs to happen to get past it. If you're the person that was broken, here's 5 things to help. Number 1, you must decide. First and foremost, you need to decide how you feel and what you truly want. Do you want to stay in the relationship or let it go? Think this through and do not respond or decide based on hasty emotions. This is a huge decision and you need to make an informed decision that you can live with. Once you have clarification on what you plan to do moving forward, the next steps are easier to manage. Number 2, forgive. Whether you're planning on staying or moving on, you must forgive them. Not for them, for you. Forgiving is the first step to healing. If you don't find a way to forgive them, you're going to let this moment define your future with or without them. If you stay and you haven't forgiven them, you're never going to look at them the same and the relationship will suffer. If you leave, you will carry the pain with you and see them in every future suitor, and you'll be so bitter and jaded that you won't be able to open your heart to love again. You got to forgive this person now. Number 3, take your time. You don't have to have all the answers right away. There is no rush. Don't try and hide from your feelings or try to force to get past them and, I'm just going to make myself get over this. No. Sit in your feelings and experience all of them. Time does heal all wounds, and some hurts will require patience to heal. Rushing, using ineffective coping methods like cheating back or being spiteful or vengeful, turning to alcohol, drugs, or trying to hurt them like they hurt you will only extend this process and make things worse. Number 4, accept it. It happened. Remove the blame off yourself. We all know there are 5 stages of grief, but I want to discuss the last and most important one, acceptance. You're going to have to accept that it happened and understand that you can't change that it happened. You're going to have to take the blame off of yourself. That's what's hurting you and stagnating you in your healing process the most. You're looking for the rhyme and reason as to why it happened and comparing yourself to the other person. What was it about them? What did they have that I didn't? Why him or her? How does my spouse feel about them? Are they better than me? More attractive? More sexual? Blah, 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 blah. The thoughts are endless and will make you lose your sanity. Stop it. They betrayed you because they wanted to do it. It has nothing to do with you. People are going to do what they want to do, even if they have the best spouses or the most attractive spouses in the world. Ask Beyonce, Halle Berry, Cardi B, and millions of other men and women around the globe. It's a character flaw and speaks to who they are, not who you are not. Number 5, try. This is the last one for the people who decide to stay and make it work. You're going to need to actively try. Betrayal is not easy to come back from, but it can be done. You're going to have to pay attention to the signs. You know your spouse and you'll know if they're trying to be better and change or not. If you see them putting in real effort, you have to take heed to that and give them the space and time needed to prove that they made a mistake, but they're willing to change. There's nothing worse for someone who has hurt you than having you bringing it up constantly, accusing them, and not being able to move on. It often makes them feel like there's no point in staying because they're never going to be able to move past your pain. You have to actually try to open your heart to give and receive their love again. Now, here are 5 things to do when you've done the hurting. Number 1, you've got to decide. The betrayal is one thing, but the collateral damage is something very different. You've broken your partner's heart, and only you can decide if it's worth repairing or not. If you love this person, understand it's not going to be easy to rebuild it, and it will be frustrating and it will stretch you to your limits. But if you can own your part in this and understand that you caused their pain and therefore deserve to be uncomfortable as they try to heal, you might want to check out now. Decide what you want. If you don't want to fix it, say that and walk away. Don't lie and tell them what you think they want to hear. Number 2, listen. Be prepared to listen to them as they pour out their heart to you. Don't rush them or make them feel like their feelings are a burden to you or like you can't be bothered to hear about them. Listen to listen, not to respond. Respect their feelings and their vulnerability and have an active conversation where you actually take accountability for what you've done and the hurt that you caused. Never tell them to get over it or tell them, to pretend to like you know what they're dealing with. Never minimize their feelings. Don't try to tell them how they feel or cover up their feelings with your own. Own it all and be a safe space for them. Number 3, give them time. Give them time to be sad, mad, happy, feel whatever they're feeling. It's not always about you. Their silence doesn't mean that it's because they resent you. They're trying to process this and figure out what their feelings are. Let them be able to do that. Number 4, make amends and mean them. Reassure them. One of the best ways to make amends is to reassure your spouse that things will be different. Maybe it's more quality time, trying to reconnect, a getaway, just the two of you, sharing phone passwords and access, sharing locations on each other's phones, whatever it takes. Your spouse might not even want to track your movements or dig through your phone. It's just the establishing the, trust part that is really something that they're going to notice. It's you're making it clear that you have nothing to hide. Your phone could be ringing and you could ask him or her to answer it. That's a great feeling for someone who's been betrayed. Figure out where the trust was broken and use that area to work on to fix it. Keep your word. Be where you're supposed to be. Check in with them if anything changes. Just simple little thoughtful gestures will go a long way. Number 5, change. The best apology is change behavior. You said you were going to change. You're going to actually have to do that. Work on yourself enough to understand why you did what you did so that you can prevent yourself from repeating the mistake. If you know certain environments or factors tempt you, steer clear of those. The easiest way to not slip up again is to not put yourself in situations where, you guessed it, you could slip up. Find your peace. Don't let the situation break you. Don't forget who you are. The pain is temporary, but your heart will heal. Can relationships withstand betrayal and broken trust? Well, that depends on the couple and the foundation their relationship was built upon and how bad they both want it. It will take 2 people who are both fully committed to doing the work to heal past it. If the relationship doesn't continue, it will still take 2 people being fully committed to their individual healing to not leave the relationship and the hurt that it caused and make them infect other people with their bitterness and brokenness. You deserve to show up in this world as your unapologetically healed self. My goodness. I love you guys so much. Take care of yourselves and take better care of your hearts. Today's show was brought to you by Shalia Speaks. Please rate the show on your favorite streaming platform and share it with one person who you think needs to hear it, and then ask them to do the same. Remember, good, better, best. Never let it rest. To your good is better, and your better is best. Until next time, your friend and motivator, Shalia. Bye.